Hey, good morning, everyone. I just wanted to reach out to you on this What Are You Going to Do About It Wednesday, and just share a few words of encouragement and just love on you a little bit. Maybe my experience can help you just a little bit. I have always been very open about some of the experiences that I've gone through, a great deal of trauma throughout my teenage years and also, the early part of my 20s. What I can tell you is that most people know that my first love is acting, right? With that trauma, the one thing that saved me was the ability to kind of move in and out between characters. Just being able to escape, basically. That's what that was for me. But it also was work. When I went to college, I majored in film and theater. And I would just remember all of my classmates talking about the art, the art, the art. But for me, acting was never an art. So when they'd come to me and say, well, don't you care about your art? And I was like, acting is a job for me. It's not, I don't look at it as art. And that's because I worked I didn't work so hard because actually acting came very easily. It was very natural for me. But it was work in terms of, again, cue in the proverbial we wear the mask, Paul Laurence Dunbar poem. It was every morning I would wake up, through my teenage years and then, like I said, through my early 20s. I wake up and say, okay, time to put on the mask. And that's what it was. I put on this mask of security and though I didn't do a good job of it. But anyway, happiness and fulfillment. And the fact of the matter is I was struggling and I was hurting. And, I kept myself so busy. I was always the first one to volunteer for everything. But again, when I look back on it now, I can say, I stayed so busy so that by the time I got home, I would be so tired that I just go to sleep. Few people know this. Honestly, I don't know if anyone knows this, but throughout most of my life until my early 20s, I would go to bed every night praying that God would not allow me to wake up the next morning. I didn't want to live, and so when I woke up the next day, it was like, okay, well, he didn't decide to not let me wake up this day. And I was too much of a coward to take my own life because I was afraid of going to hell. So the alternative was just keep myself busy, just work, just volunteer, just do this, just do that. And I remember I was taking a psychology class when I was in high school, and during a parent-teacher conference, my teacher actually said to my guardian, her grades are good, her behavior is good, we never have to worry about her, she's involved in all these things, but something's not right. No child is ever this busy. No child wants to be this consumed with so much work. And in that moment, I thought to myself, oh my God, for the first time, someone is seeing me. Someone is seeing me, right? But, that kind of just went over, it was like, no, she just likes to stay busy. That's just who she is. That's who she's always been. But, again, acting like I enjoyed all of these things, wearing that mask, that was just my way of survival. So fast forward to college. I had my senior year it was a myriad of different events. First, I had a sibling who was murdered. And I went to his funeral, and at his funeral, I met just an abundance of family that I didn't even know existed. I reconnected with my father. I just had surgery, so I was recovering from that. I was in a relationship that wasn't very good, so there was the stress of that. And then in addition to that, after reconnecting with my father at my sibling's funeral, my father died 4 months later. So it just became too much. And I'll be very honest with you, in the Black community, everything is about prayer and taking it to Jesus. But the problems that I was experiencing, coupled with the trauma that I'd already gone through, prayer wasn't enough. Prayer alone wasn't enough. And so, I heard some of my white friends talking about going to therapy. And so I was like, you know what? Heck, I'll try it. And I started going to therapy, during my senior year of college. And I have to say that was the moment that changed my life. I am an advocate for mental health. I encourage any and everyone to go. I believe that it is something that every single last person in America needs, especially people of color. There is a such thing as an inherited trauma. It is really proven to be my saving grace. And I'm not shy about saying, oop, I think I need to go get a tune-up, and I'll schedule an appointment. Now, finding therapy is just like finding a spouse. You're going to date your therapist, and it may take a while before you find the right fit. But I guarantee you, if you stick with it and you find the right advocate, it'll change your life, and it's so much better. It's not easy. It's hard. It's hard to relive some of the trauma that you've experienced. But the fact of the matter is, when you're on the other side, it's so much better, right? So what are you going to do about it? Like I said, I was in a place of just devastation, desperation. And I recognized that I needed help. And so what I did about it was go get help. So now the question is for you, what are you going to do about it? All right. You guys have an amazing day. Bye.